Ladies and gentlemen, good morning and welcome to the Q4 FY22 earnings conference call of Vishnu Chemicals Limited. We have with us today Mr. Siddharth Cherukuri, Joint Managing Director, and Mr. Hanumant Bhansali, Vice President, Finance. This discussion may include forward-looking statements regarding business trends or activities. Such forward-looking statements should not be taken as a presentation that such trends or activities will continue in future, and no undue reliance should be based on them. All participant lines will be in the listen-only mode, and there will be an opportunity for you to ask questions at the end of today's discussion. Should you need assistance during the conference call, please signal an operator by pressing star then 0 on your touchtone phone. Please note that this conference is being recorded. I now invite Mr. Hanumant Bhansali to begin the proceedings of the call. Thank you, and over to you, sir.
Thank you, Ms. Margaret. Everyone, and welcome to the conference call of Vishnu Chemicals Limited. We shall discuss our results and developments for the quarter ended 31st March 2022. Our investor presentation was uploaded on the exchanges yesterday for your reference. Moving on to the key business and financial highlights of the company. For the first time, Vishnu Chemicals has achieved the historic milestone of rupees 1,000 sales. This is the best ever quarter for the company and also the best year in terms of since inception in 1989. We really believe this is a very holistic and performance, as both our domestic as well as export sales grew by nearly 56% and 58% respectively in FY22.
Sorry to interrupt you, Mr. Bhansali. Your voice is fluctuating a bit. So some of the numbers that you read out, we could not hear it clearly.
Okay.
I would request if you can repeat, please, from the beginning. I'm so sorry for this.
Okay. Is it audible now?
At the moment, it is, yes.
Okay. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the conference call of Vishnu Chemicals Limited, where we shall discuss our results and developments for the quarter and year ended 31st March 2022. Our investor presentation has been uploaded on the stock exchanges for your ready reference. Moving on to key business and financial highlights. For the first time, Vishnu Chemicals has achieved the historic milestone of rupees 1,000 crores in sales. This is the best ever quarterly and annual performance by the company since inception. We believe that this is a satisfactory performance, as both the domestic and export sales grew by 56% and 58% respectively in FY22. In fact, the demand environment is as good as it gets. We continue to receive inquiries from customers for our products, as they are essential to extending the life, imparting colors, and also improving the performance of many pharmaceutical, consumer, and industrial applications. The consolidated revenues for FY22 was 1,075 crores as compared to rupees 682 crores in FY21, registering a growth of 58% year-on-year. The consolidated EBITDA margin for FY22 was 15% compared to 11.8% in FY21, an increase of 317 basis points year-on-year. This was aided by multiple factors, some of which were scale, our quality of products, our operational flexibility, our focus on supply chain, and better procurement planning. We registered the best ever PAT in FY22 at rupees 81 crores compared to 34 crores in FY21. During the year, the PAT margins also increased by 250 basis points. Speaking about the quarter 4, the consolidated revenues were rupees 336 crores compared to 215 crores for the corresponding quarter previous year, up by 56% on a year-on-year basis. On a Q-on-Q basis, the revenues grew by 12%. Consolidated EBITDA for FY22 quarter was 53 crores compared to 26 crores for the corresponding quarter previous year, up by 106% year-on-year and 16% Q-on-Q. The EBITDA margin was 15.8% on the consolidated basis in this quarter. The consolidated PAT for Q4 FY22 was rupees 29 crores compared to 11 crores for the corresponding quarter previous year, up by 163% Y-on-Y and 16% Q-on-Q. The net profit margin of the company in Q4 FY22 was 8.5% compared to 5.1% in Q4 FY21, an increase of almost 340 basis points. We believe that this performance is truly holistic, and we have improved in all the key metrics, not just in terms of P&L, but also the balance sheet of the company. With this, I conclude my remarks, and now request Ms. Margaret to commence the Q&A session. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We will now begin the question and answer session. Anyone who wishes to ask a question may press star and 1 on the touchtone telephone. If you wish to remove yourself from the question queue, you may press star and 2. Participants are requested to use handsets while asking a question. Anyone who would like to ask a question, please press star and 1 at this time. Ladies and gentlemen, we will wait for a moment while the question queue assembles. The first question is from the line of Anshul Vardia from Edelweiss Wealth Research. Please go ahead.
Thank you. And thanks for the opportunity and congratulations on the good set of numbers. Just a couple of questions, Hanuman sir. Could you please help us with the volume number for both the segments in the fourth quarter and the full year?
Good morning. Thank you for your question. On the volume numbers, right now we are not disclosing the numbers in terms of production levels in both the segments, chromium and barium. But on an overall, if I just take FY21 as a base, from FY21 to FY22, we saw increase of 20% in our chromium chemicals production level. From if I take FY20 as a base, from FY20 to FY21, we increased about 20% in our chromium chemicals volume. And from FY21 to FY22, we increased by 22% on a year-on-year basis. On the barium chemicals, also the volumes have gone up. And this year, the volumes are upwards of 10% in barium chemicals.
Okay, that's really helpful. Just one follow-up. Could you please comment on the barium segment EBITDA margins, where we have seen slight moderation quarter-on-quarter, and any EBITDA margin number you would like to assign as sustainable margin for this particular segment?
Thank you again for this question. Yes, in the Q4 in barium chemicals, we registered 9.5% EBITDA margin. If you would recollect, then in Q3 we had mentioned in our press release that there was a little bit of issue with the monsoon in Srikalahasti in the third quarter, due to which we had to carry forward some of the orders in Q4 and honor them at the same prices that were entered into in Q3. While the prices of raw materials due to global phenomena has increased in Q4, but we decided to absorb the prices instead of renegotiating the existing contracts with our customers. So that's the reason why we have seen a little bit of there's been very little increase in the realization per ton in barium in Q4, where the raw material prices have gone up. But having said so, we have increased the prices effectively from April.
That's really helpful. So any guidance on the EBITDA margin for this particular segment? Can we assume 15% plus, which we have guided earlier?
We have actually not given any guidance on the EBITDA margins per se, but we truly believe that the margins of barium chemicals are sustainable in the range of 16 to 20%. It will be in that range.
Thank you for answering all the questions. That's all from my side. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Ravi Naredi from Naredi Investments. Please go ahead.
To give me this opportunity. First of all, thanks to full team of Vishnu, MD Shri Krishnamurthy ji, Siddharth, Joint MD, for nice performance and achieve milestone of 1,000 crore top line. And we hope we touch 100 crore of bottom line soon. Sir, higher EBITDA margin of quarter 4 will be maintained in current year? I'm not asking percentage, what margin percentage you will achieve EBITDA, but this margin will be achieved in quarter for financial year 23?
Hello, Mr. Dravi. This is Siddhartha Cheripuri, Joint Managing Director of Vishnu Chemical.
Yes. Welcome, sir.
We are very positive given the order book and in general demand environment. We are very confident to maintain this EBITDA margin. Perhaps we are expecting a further improvement given that our backward integration is going to come online.
Right.
In the coming quarter. So that, with that being said, I think we are very confident on, improving EBITDA, not just EBITDA, but also on the top line, given the order book in both the verticals.
Okay. And how much the barium chemical will be our whole turnover percentage term?
Good morning, Mr. Ravi.
Yes.
In this term, it's 15% to our consolidated revenue.
Your voice is breaking. Can you repeat again?
The barium chemicals is 15% contribution to our consolidated revenue.
15%. And sir, any capex plan for financial year 23 and probable top line, if you can give?
Sorry, the capex plan for?
23 financial year.
Yes, we do have capex plan for this financial year 23, both on the chromium chemical side and the barium chemical side.
Right.
On the barium chemicals, we are very excited to venture into a new product, which is an import substitute in India. And at the same time, in chromium chemicals, we are expanding our capacity.
Okay. So how much capex we will do?
Yeah. Our overall capex this year will be in the range of 120 crores on a consolidated basis.
How much, sir?
120 crores on a consolidated
120 crores.
Yes.
Your voice was breaking. Yes, I'm again requesting. Thank you very much and all the best, sir.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Rikin Shah from Omkara Capital. Please go ahead.
Congratulations on a great set of numbers. Just wanted to understand in the chromium chemical side.
Sorry to interrupt you, Mr. Shah. Your voice is not very clear. I believe you might be on speaker. Can you please come on the handset mode and ask your question?
Am I audible now? Is it better?
There's a slight echo. If you are on speaker, please come on handset. That will be clearer. He seems to have lost his line, so we'll take the next question in the meanwhile. The next question is from the line of Pritesh Chheda from Lucky Investment Managers. Please go ahead.
Yeah, hi. Congratulations for a significant progress. Sir, on the chromium chemical side, what is the progress on the backward integration in the quarter 4? Because I was just trying to analyze the number, and when I look at the QOQ absolute raw material cost, there isn't any significant change. So if you would comment on the backward integration side. My second question is with respect to barium. So has that incremental capacity expansion kicked in? And once it kicks in, does it mean that it means about 40-50% absolute jump in EBITDA because of the capacity getting added? These are my two questions. I have one follow-up which I'll take after you answer.
Thank you, Pritesh. This is Siddhartha with you.
Hi, Siddhartha.
Regarding the backward integration, it's as per the plan. We are currently operating at upwards of 80% level. We have seen this kind of operating levels in the month of March. That's an update on our backward integration. When you're saying that these numbers are not reflecting, as you know, on absolute basis, the virgin soda ash prices have increased substantially over the second half of last year. So, so it's hard to kind of, correlate with those numbers, because you still have to use virgin soda ash to produce, sodium dichromate and everything. So if you go by numbers, I think it will be, it's hard to correlate in a way.
Which means if it is operating at 80% in March, and if it continues, will it continue to operate at higher utilization now? Has the backward integration stabilized?
Yes, we are confident, but still, like I said, it's a complex process. As long as we achieve upwards of 80%, it means that the operations are going well.
So will incrementally, obviously this backward integration started in your quarter 4, and March was the month where you would have it higher. So incrementally, when we move in the forthcoming quarters, we will start seeing the benefit of that backward integration in absolute terms?
Absolutely. That's very likely.
Okay. What kind of gross margin change do you see or envisage in the incremental quarter once this is fully reflected?
I can't give you guidance on a quarter-on-quarter, but if I can comment on the overall year, we would see an improvement of 300 to 400 basis points.
Okay.
For the current.
Versus the exit quarter.
Correct.
Okay. On the chromium side.
Correct.
Okay. My question on barium, has the capacity got added, and does it mean that you will see a 40-50% jump in barium EBITDA?
Yes, the capacity has gone up by 60%. I beg your pardon, from 36,000 tons to 60,000 tons. And we are planning to operate it at 80% of the installed capacity during this financial year. So in terms of volume, we are looking at a 40% increase in the volume. And we are seeing a very good demand. And since the operating levels are increasing at a better operating, with that being said, better operating leverage, I think definitely we'll see good EBITDA improvement during this financial year. However, we are being very cautiously optimistic about the raw material costs, especially on the energy side. That's something which we are very carefully, analyzing. So that's why we can't give you a guidance on EBITDA, but we are very confident on the value and the volume improvement during this year, and EBITDA will follow.
Okay. So this being brownfield, I'm hoping that the capacity would have already stabilized, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. And sir, my last question is, you mentioned 120 crore capex. So this barium capex is already capitalized, right, in 22. So where are you spending incrementally this 120 crores now?
Good morning, Mr. Pritesh. This is Hanuman with you.
Hi, Hanuman. Good morning.
Good morning. Out of this 120 crores, we have kept aside 90 crores for the blank fix, a new product in our barium chemistry. And
what is it? Blank.
It's precipitated barium sulfate, mainly used as a filler in the paint industry. So this is another value-added product in the barium vertical. So idea is very similar to what we have done in chrome chemicals to add related derivatives in barium. So this is a very interesting, and at the same time it's it is an import replacement product.
Okay.
So the work of that has started, Mr. Pritesh, and we have completed the financial closure of it. So 90 crores will be spent over that. Out of this 90 crores, it will be partially funded by debt and partially by equity. It would be completed by Q4 and it should be commissioned in H1 of next financial year. The balance 30 crores is in chromium chemicals business, which is kept aside for our expansion from 70,000 tons of installed capacity to 80,000 tons.
Okay.
So this will be completed in the next quarter or so. Part of this has already been spent last year, and part of it will be completed in the first 6 months.
Okay. This precipitated barium sulfate, does it add extra volumes in that 60,000, or it means more value addition within that overall barium capacity increase that you took from 36 to 60?
Now, it will add capacity by additionally 30,000 tons as barium sulfate.
Okay.
But currently, I won't be able to give you a guidance on what would be the operating levels on 30,000 because we have to take it step by step. It's a new product, it's a specialty chemical, and so we'll have to scale it up. Probably we'll start at 15 to 18,000 tons and thereafter scale it up. But we are very excited about this new project and very happy to add a new product to the barium vertical, which will definitely improve the value in the company.
Okay. And lastly, sir, on chrome ore, any impact, or how are you managing the chrome ore price increase, or if there is any price increase? Because we keep on getting confusing trends. So your comments on the chrome ore side.
I'm not sure why it is confusing because, most of the chrome ore purchase is very much indexed and we are able to pass on most of the price increases to our end users. So I don't see any complexity.
How much is the chrome price increase? We know chrome.
Yeah. I would say the increase was mainly on effect of the freight cost, which our end users understand. But we have mitigated it in a way that since we are a bulk buyer, so we have, we have pivoted in terms of instead of using containers, we have started using brake bulk. That's a prudent call which we have taken to bring down the cost in terms of transporting the material. So still there is an impact of about 20% on the purchasing, which we've been successful to pass it on to the end user.
Okay. Okay. Thank you very much and all the best to you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Sudhir Bheda from Right Time Consultant Services. Please go ahead.
Yeah, hello sir, good morning and hearty congratulations to Team Vishnu for outstanding numbers, sir. Particularly good cash flow and Q-on-Q as well as year-on-year increase in the margin where other companies are facing a lot of margin pressure. So congratulations once again, sir.
Hello. Thank you very much for your warm comment. Thank you.
Sir, I have two questions. Actually, one question is already answered. So, see, there is a geopolitical uncertainty as well as some report of destruction of demand in view of high inflation. So, what are the growth triggers which led you to believe that we will continue to grow in the same pace as we are growing in the last financial year? So if you can throw light on the growth triggers going forward for our products.
Thank you, Sudhirji. To answer your question, in fact, it's worked in our favor. Reason being, we have a strong peer in Russia who's having challenges to produce and export the chemicals out of Russia at the moment. So that has definitely supported overall the demand environment globally. But as such, even during the peak COVID period, the end-use market which we are catering has not been impacted to a large extent. And in fact, we are seeing that such because most of the countries have come out of COVID restriction, in exception with China, which has never been our end-use market. So that gives us more confidence on the year to come.
So demand side, do you foresee any challenges as far as international demand is concerned?
No. As of now, it looks very resilient, I would say.
Great, sir, great. And so my last question is as you said, backward integration will have its full impact from April 1st. So do you see what kind of incremental EBITDA that we can fetch due to this backward integration?
Sorry, can you repeat your question?
See, our full impact of the backward integration will kick in from the first step for the financial year 23. So what is incremental EBITDA that we would get out of that backward integration plan as compared to last financial year?
Well, I suppose I've already answered this question. We can't give a guidance on a quarterly basis, but for a whole year, we are expecting at least 300-400 basis points improvement in the overall EBITDA.
Great, sir. Great. Congrats once again, and thanks for the opportunity.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Mr. Sudhir.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Rikin Shah from Omkara Capital. Please go ahead.
Hi, congrats on a great set of numbers. Just wanted to understand, given how global events have unfolded in the past and your competitors in probably Turkey and US are now facing challenges, and now capex in chromium chemicals seems a little economically unfeasible, how long do you expect the realizations to be favorable now?
Well, we don't expect too much. See, I can answer it this way, Mr. Rikin. We don't expect too much of capacity additions in the short term. And when we mean short term to medium, it's about broadly 18 to 24 months globally.
Right.
Inflation is an issue globally, but interest rates are going up. Our input costs are fluctuating to some extent, but having said that, structurally we are much better placed than our peers. Exports out of China are not a concern for us. Russia is a competition, but they are affected for now. So for multiple reasons, the demand and supply is far better balanced, I would say.
Right.
So from capacity point of view, there is very little excess capacity going around, which will keep the demand intact. However, we feel the demand is going to come from different sectors. Especially, let's say, to talk about India and government focusing on infrastructure spending across the world is good for us. So with higher commodity prices, what we are seeing right now, and also the mining activity continues, and with the government focus on infrastructure, construction activities will bound to continue. That will eventually drive the demand. So in a nutshell, we are much better placed, and that will reflect in numbers in the years to come.
Right. All right. I have another question first. So now that we are pursuing debottlenecking in chromium chemicals, so this additional 10,000 metric tons, how much of it can we ramp up in FY23? Because it will start maybe midway this year.
Good morning, Mr. Rikin. This is Hanuman Srithi. So yes, it's a valid point. The good part is we have already started. We had already started working on it in the last quarter itself. So we are progressing well over there, and we are very confident of completing this exercise in the next 3 months. So it has taken us close to 7 months to do it, and we are confident that we'll start full operations in this by Q2 or towards the end of Q2 of this financial year.
All right.
So assuming that I have shared that we'll see a volume increase in chromium chemicals to the extent of at least 10%, on a year-on-year basis.
All right. So and in barium sulfate, can we see that a material impact in FY24, because you have maybe alluded to the fact that it will come on stream in Q4 FY23?
Yes, it would also, while it would come on stream in Q4 or Q1 of FY24, the point over here is that, we have already started the groundwork over there. We are very happy to inform all our shareholders and investors on this call that we are progressing very well on that capex. It's been thoroughly planned. It was part of our expansion plan for quite some time now. and now we have already started working on it. So we will see a material impact of that on our consolidated as well as Vishnu Barium's EBITDA from next financial year onwards.
All right. So that's it from my side.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Shivam Vashi from Inga Ventures. Please go ahead.
Yeah. Hello, sir. Just wanted to understand, in slide number 13, you mentioned that there is a debottlenecking, given the surge in demand, sir. So can you just help me understand where this demand is coming from? It's from the export market or it is largely from the domestic market?
Hello. It's from both. We see demand coming from the domestic market as well as the exports market.
Okay. Because what your presentation mentions, sir, is in the chromium chemistry segment, and in the market has demand of 60,000 metric tons, whereas we are already at 70,000, and with this we'll be at 80,000. So this incremental, demand, I was just trying to understand whether our export share will increase because of this debottlenecking.
It's like, again, like I said, it will be hard to give you guidance on the percentage, but I can say that the demand is from domestic as well as export market. But if I can talk about the specific sector, we are seeing more from the electroplating side as well as the wood preservative chemistry and pigments and dyes, where we are witnessing a strong demand.
Correct. And so lastly, what kind of revenue that we are expecting out of this due to this debottlenecking to this additional 10,000 tons?
Let me answer it in a way that we won't give any guidance on the EBITDA margins and everything, but
on the top line front, sir.
Again, we can't give any guidance on the top line and on the EBITDA margin. But let me put it in such a way that when, as a management, when we are making investments, we are very clear on the return. So when we are looking at today, we've already shown significant improvement in ROC from 13% to 25%. So we at Vishnu Chemicals, we are targeting upwards of 30% of ROC in the years to come. At the same time, very much focused on the gross fixed asset we are creating to the turnover ratio, targeting at 2. And at the same time, focus on improving further interest coverage ratio to 8 to 10 times. And at the same time, we're very conservative on bringing the inventory days down. If you have seen from 186 days of inventory, it has come down to 105, and that's not it. We're going to see a further improvement on the inventory days coming down to perhaps close to 80. That's kind of guidance we can give.
Okay, sir. Noted. Just, I think the question was answered in the last thing. It is going to be funded by around 30 crores internal accruals, right, sir? This debottlenecking?
Yes.
Yes. Thank you so much. That's the answer to my question. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Dhruv Himrajka from Monarch AIF. Please go ahead.
Yeah, thank you for the opportunity, sir. Sir, as on date, what is our installed capacity for both chromium and barium?
Good morning, Mr. Dhruv. The installed capacity in chromium chemicals is 70,000 tons per annum, and the installed capacity in barium is 60,000 tons per annum. It was 40,000 tons till Feb. In March, we added another 20,000 tons. So effective this year, it's 60,000 tons per annum in barium vertical.
Okay, and as per your expansion plan, you said chromium will go to 80K, right?
That's right.
Okay, and barium, there is no additional capacity coming in except for the new product launch that you're going to do.
I think that is a very big project for us.
Okay.
It's not just in terms of volumes. While the volumes will also go up by nearly 30% from 60,000 tons to 90,000 tons plus. But the key part over here that I'd like to correct this narrative is that this is a value-added product. It is not manufactured by any key player in India. It's an import substitute. It goes into automobile paints as a filler. So there is a powder. for powder coating. So there is a huge demand for this, not just in India but globally. So if we were earlier relying on international paint manufacturers, and even the Indian paint manufacturers were relying on international producers for this chemical. Now there will be a self-reliance in that matter from an Indian perspective also. So this is a very very niche product in its category.
Right.
And the key part is it would also diversify our portfolio in barium chemicals. What we have learned from our experience in the past in chromium chemicals is that having a concentrated portfolio can give you the upside, for X number of years. But having the diversified portfolio, especially in our kind of business, it gives you that cushion against industry risk or end user risk or currency risk. So that's the reason why we are venturing into a new product.
Correct. And sir, what would be the new capacity for this product?
It will be 30,000 tons. So from 60,000 tons, we'll be at 90,000 tons from next financial year, FY24.
Okay. And how much time would it take for the optimal utilization for this new capacity?
We will have to wait a little bit. Probably we'll be in a better position to answer this in the next conference call.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. And just one last thing on this new product, how has been the customer response? Because I understand that you would have been talking to prospective clients and customers about this. So just wanted to get a sense on that.
We already spoken to some big end users.
Right.
The response is good. However, they would like to test it and see the end product. That's the kind of response we have got from some big end users. But I think definitely there's a lot of interest because people they're looking forward to move away from imports because it's getting more complex to get materials to containers.
Right.
Also given the China issues, because 70-80% of this plastic is coming from China and rest is coming from Italy. And not just in terms of this thing, also the quality what we are going to produce will be superior and will give them a better finish compared to what they're sourcing from China. So that's also interesting for them to source from us.
Okay. So you said the product mainly comes from China and Italy.
Yeah, product mainly comes from China and Italy. 70% from China, 30% from Italy. The Italians, they are producing a certain higher grade quality. That's what we are targeting to offer in the market. And we are very confident about achieving those qualities.
Okay, Italy has the higher grade product.
Correct.
Okay. Fine, sir. Thank you so much. I'll come back in the queue.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Vivek Gautam from GS Investment. Please go ahead.
Yes, sir. Thanks for the opportunity and congratulations.
Sorry to interrupt you, sir. We cannot hear you. Your audio is very low.
Hello. Is it better?
Yes, better. Can you please come a bit closer to the phone if you can?
Yeah.
Speak on the handset mode, please.
Yeah. First of all, congratulations once again for consistent set of numbers and for this opportunity to speak. My question is, how sustainable is this growth and the factor responsible for it? Current headwinds Russia is facing, is it helping us out? What is our USP on this front and will it sustain in future?
Thank you, Mr. Vivek. Good morning to you. On the sustainability part, I will just reflect on one point. What we are seeing is not just an uptrend because of global demand and supply scenario, but because of the improvement in our own operations that we have cemented in the last few years. So, just for the context, so from being a two-product company, like we have been saying, we have diversified our portfolio, and that gives us more customers to cater to. That gives us more industries to cater to. That gives us more ability to mitigate large pricing pressures from the commodity side, as well as currency rates globally. So with this in mind, few years ago, we had pivoted our strategy to produce more diversified range of products in chromium chemical business, and that has now resulted in terms of the growth that you're seeing in our margins. So across the world, our customers are looking at pricing from the point of view of end user demand, consistent supply, and how the supplier can mitigate shipping delays. I think all these factors are helping us, helping us believe that the margins are going to be sustainable going forward.
Yeah. And what is the opportunity size for us both in India and outside India, and for both chromium and barium, and expected growth rate in future?
I think over here in India, we are the largest producers of chromium chemicals. And in barium also, we are the largest producers of products that we are manufacturing. So the industry is growing at a faster rate compared to what is being suggested in terms of global industry rate. So India's growth story is very much intact. What we believe is the emphasis of make in India or manufacturing in India is also going to have a multiplier effect on a company like us, because our products goes into multiple sectors, be it pharmaceuticals, be it industrials, or be it consumer applications. So that's the reason why we are very optimistic about the demand being intact going forward.
And exports?
Absolutely. From an export point of view also, like we have mentioned before, we don't see too much of capacity being added, and that will help us grow in the export markets as well.
I believe our new Vizag plant, sort of, which is stabilizing, that has been the key factor behind the improvement of our performance in recent time. And I believe the learning from there, we have been able to do it in the other segment also. So how is our Bhilai plant performing, and how helpful is this location of Kadpa mines in close proximity to us for our barium business, sir?
So I'll just summarize this. The Bhilai operations are also doing well. We produce a very important derivative product out of Bhilai, which is exported in excess of 65% compared to domestic consumption. So that gives us a leeway into export markets. And like you mentioned, yes, in Vizag we have added a backward integration project that is integrated into the same unit. It's not a new plant.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Yogesh Tiwari from Arihant Capital Markets. Please go ahead. Yogesh Tiwari from Arihant Capital Markets, your line is in the talk mode. You may go ahead with your question. We would request you to...
Hello.
Yes, sir. Please go ahead with your question.
First of all, congratulations for a good set of numbers.
Sorry to interrupt you. Mr. Tiwari, can you please come closer to the phone? You're sounding distant.
Am I audible now?
Thank you.
First of all, congratulations for a good set of numbers, and thanks for taking my question. Just one question. So in Q4, there is a negative other expenses of about 1.3 crores. So just wanted to understand that.
Good morning, Mr. Yogesh. Thank you for raising this question. It's a good observation. It's basically we have spent excess in CSR this year, and as per the provision given by the accounting standards, we are carrying forward the excess spent on CSR, and we'll be utilizing it over the next 3 years. So that's why you'll see this reversal.
Sure, that's all from my side, and all the best. Thanks.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Anyone who would like to ask a question, you may press star and 1. The next question is from the line of Anil Jain from Equipassion Capital. Please go ahead.
Yeah. Hi. Good morning, sir. I just wanted to know what is our net debt as on March 22, and how do you see it moving in the next year in FY23 and FY24?
Good morning, Mr. Anil. Thank you for your question. Our consolidated total debt as of 31st March 2022 is 352 crores, and from a debt to equity point of view, it is 1.3 times. We believe that over the next year, the debt to equity should, we are targeting internally it to bring it down to less than 1. As we can see that there is a capex going on in our barium subsidiary, so there would be a marginal increase in our total debt in absolute terms, but it would be still under the range of debt to equity of 1. So we are going to see an increase of close to about 30 to 35 crores in debt over the next 1 year. But since we are repaying close to about 30 crores in principal repayments in our chromium business this year, we are going to see a marginal impact.
Okay, you are targeting 1:1 by March 23.
We are targeting less than 1:1.
Okay, great.
Yes, we're hopeful to achieve that. We are very confident of what we have seen in the past should fructify into good deleveraging in the coming year also.
Okay, thank you. Good to hear that. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Bhavya Sanavala the next question is from the line of Anurag Runwal from Moneybee Investment Advisors. Please go ahead.
Hi, this is Manan here. Thank you for the opportunity. In the earlier participant, you mentioned about one of our competitors in Russia who's facing issues. So what sort of capacity must have gone offline through this, and has this resulted in any spike in the realizations of our product?
Thank you, Anurag. We're talking about a capacity of close to 80,000 tons. Is what is coming out of Russia. So that's, as of now, how we see it is it's out of the market.
Okay.
And in terms of realization improvement, we're already witnessing it, as we speak. However, the freights are still, the sea freights globally are still playing a spoil sport. When I'm saying that, we as an exporter out of India are, more impacted than others because the outbound freights in Asia, even compared to China now, is higher out of India for some reason. So that's something we are dealing with.
I was under the impression that outbound freight is a pass-on.
Sorry, your voice was cracking.
I was under the impression that our outbound freight are a pass-on to our customers. Is that understanding correct, or?
Yes, we did pass on. But just if you calculate it, let's say we had a lower freight, the margins would have improved also, right? We are able to pass on a CIF increase, but on an absolute basis, in case the freights were lower, our margins would have improved because we are working on a CIF basis, although it's FOB plus actual. But there has been an improvement on the sea freight, but not to the extent we have, not to the extent of what we are seeing in China, because China, the sea freights have reduced. But that's not happening completely in India yet. But we are hoping that it will happen in a few months from now.
Okay. And so this capacity is this mainly because they are not able to source raw material why this capacity has gone offline, or is it that due to the sanctions on the Russia they are unable to export?
It's a combination of everything. It's also the customers are shying away from sourcing from Russia. I think it's not a short-term impact we see because where the things are going, I don't think Russia is going to take a back foot on what they have embarked on. So I'm sure US will continue to put pressure, and they will be isolated from the global market in terms of supplying chemicals or any other related products manufactured in Russia. I think they will have a long-term impact. When I say long-term, at least few years from now. And also to source a container from, a lot of big lines are shying away from going from Russia, going to Russia and shipping out of Russia. So they are finding challenges to source a container.
Okay, that's got it. Okay, and then on the barium side, a big chunk of our exports is to Europe, as highlighted in the presentation, and Europe going through the geopolitical issues as well as energy crisis. So are we seeing any slowdown on the demand side on that part? And again, on the chromium side, has there been any further price hikes in Q1?
I'll start off by answering the barium. We are not seeing any slowdown in the demand. It's still, the order book is looking good and we are receiving more inquiries. However, what we have been very careful is about the euro-dollar conversion rate, which is a bit of concern right now. So we are discussing with our customers to work on a dollar basis versus euro, because euro has been kind of under pressure, as we all are aware of. So that's a matter of concern, but we are taking care of that. Regarding chromium chemicals, what was the question?
Have there been further price hikes in the Q1?
There has been a price hike in Q1, but not in all the products, but few of our derivatives.
Okay. And then I had a bookkeeping question. In our P&L, we mentioned this consumables. So if you can just highlight what all things are booked under the consumables.
Good morning, Mr. Anurag. This is Hanuman Sithu. On the consumables, we have the energy consumables. Similar to, I'll just name a few like petcoke, coal, husk. It is already provided in the schedule to accounts, the breakup of all these top 5 consumables that we have.
Right. So when we talk about backward integration, under what line item would we see the benefits of that flowing in? Would it be under the consumables or would it be under the cost of goods sold?
Under the cost of raw materials consumed.
Okay. And if you can just lastly, what was the exit utilization rates in both the chromium and the barium side?
The utilization rates in chromium chemicals were close to about 90%, and in barium side, the utilization was close to about 85%.
Okay. And this debottlenecking exercise, would it result in any sort of downtime for or anything on the production side?
No. Okay. Nothing at all.
Okay. And the power issues that were going on in Andhra Pradesh, have they been resolved, or are we facing any issues on that side? Hello?
Yeah. Can you repeat?
There was news flow that there was power issues that were going on in Andhra Pradesh. So just wanted to confirm if Vishnu is facing any issues on that side, or are we able to procure power, and is there any escalation that we are looking on that side?
Overall, our power cost as a percentage of revenues on a year-on-year basis have come down from 4.6% to 4.2% in FY22.
Right.
And at the same time, we understand that there are concerns about power outages in Andhra Pradesh and other certain areas in Telangana also. But we have already planned for it. We have been planning for it, and that's the reason why we are now moving to solar power in our Vishnu Barium subsidiary. This will help us maintain the power costs for FY23 and beyond. At the same time, it also is a step towards self-sufficiency and sustainability. So from an industry point of view, of course, it is tough. But what is more concerning to us is that, we have the ability to absorb the power cost due to our improved realizations and operating leverage. But if you can ask me what is the concerning point, and that is if the power outages affect our customers and all of them are not operating at scale. So there are industries which are subscale and they might be impacted by grid power. So that's the reason that is something that we are watchful about, and we are supporting our customers who are getting impacted due to such power outage issues. So in a nutshell, we don't see a significant impact on a year-to-year basis in our power cost.
And the production side issues as well, right? So power is available for our requirements.
Anurag, just to answer that question, and since I'm on record, I say that we have not lost any production on account of power shortage.
Okay.
The reason being, we produce 40% of our own power, that is through turbine rolling. We produce about 5 megawatts of power a day. So that investments which we have done over the last 4 years has really helped during this challenging times. And at the same time, there was no power cuts in Andhra Pradesh. There were restrictions on the power usage. Let's say we are using, just to give you an example, 10 megawatts of power. We are entitled to use about 5. So there was no power cuts. There was load shedding on a day basis. So so how we mitigated this challenge is since we are producing our own power up to 5 megawatts, so that really supported during this shortage time. And also at the same time, we do have a direct feeder where we are entitled to source power from outside.
Okay. On the barium sulfate, if you can just throw some light on the market size and the opportunity that we are looking at over here.
The total global market for barium sulfate is close to 140,000 tons.
Okay.
In India there is a demand of close to 25,000 tons, and everything is imported. There is no domestic producer. That's the sort of guidance we can give you, right?
Okay. And our capacity would be primarily catering to domestic, or it would be a mix of domestic and exports?
Well, to start off with, I think domestic will be our market of focus. But as we progress, it could change.
Okay. Okay, I think that's all from my side. Thank you so much and all the best for the future.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Kaushik Dutt from Satco Capital. Please go ahead.
Hi, Kaushik Dani here. First of all, Siddharth and team, congrats for a great set of numbers. Okay, just a couple of questions. When we mentioned the volume growth, let's say in the around the teens and around 20% for chromium for the coming years, are we expecting this sort of volume growth from the same set of clients, or we expect some new clients to get added in both the segments?
Hi, Kaushik, it's Siddharth with you. We're definitely targeting new clients. And at the same time, we are receiving additional demand from the existing clientele as well in certain areas.
Okay. Okay. Fine. And sequentially, what were the realizations of the barium?
We don't give a guidance on that.
Okay. But is it an increasing trend or was it flattish or something? Any color?
It's in an increasing trend.
Okay.
But let me put it this way that I mentioned during this call today that the volume is going to be a substantial volume increase by virtue of which better operating leverage, so our pricing power will improve.
Okay. Got it. And see, typically, with regards to this precipitated barium sulfate, typically we have seen, the OEMs are usually not so keen on changing the vendors. So how much do you think are the OEMs ready to select new vendors, whether there would be a material price difference in our cost versus the Chinese or Italian producers? How does it happen?
It's a very good question. Definitely they would contemplate, since this is a specialty product, it takes time for them to, homologate into their recipe. But since we have been having a discussion with the end users. They are really serious to consider as a supplier and speed up the process of homologating in their paint end use. So especially in India, that's what I'm saying. Our target is to start off to cater to India, because the capacity we are creating, let's say we're able to achieve cater to 100% of market. That will be it, what we can produce and supply. But the idea is to create a balance of 50% export and 50% domestic. But to start off with, I think domestic market is interesting. We are hearing a lot of seeing a lot of interest from the end users, and they're looking forward to get the samples and homologate and get it approved by their end users. However, like you said, it might take a few months' time, but we can definitely speed it up. They are interested to speed it up.
Okay, so in terms of basically any stats on what is the sort of India demand for this barium sulfate?
I did mention it is 24,000.
25,000 tons. Yeah, I just got it. And
this information is shared with you after referring to the import stats and speaking to the customer. And everything is imported. Okay. There is no precipitated barium sulfate producer in India.
Got it. And we said we are going to begin this somewhere in Q1 of FY24. So that would be what, the QC side, or it would be commercially beginning from Q1 24?
Commercially beginning from Q1 24. Okay. It's like you said, it's to give you a timeline. Probably towards after our first semester of this year, probably we can give a better guidance on that project, how it's progressing.
Okay. And I think this time we have declared equity dividend, right? Hello?
Yeah, we are listening to you.
Yeah. So any preference dividend is also declared?
Sorry, what?
Any dividend on the preference capital?
Yeah. Good morning, Mr. Kaushik. Last year, the promoters of the company forego 6% of the 7%, 6% out of the total preference dividend of 7%. Right. That is as part of the capital allocated by them in the company. So they have taken 1% for the last year.
Okay. So FY22 it is 1%.
Correct.
Okay, fine. And typically for FY22, what has been the power cost as a percentage of total revenues?
It's been about 4.2%.
4.2%. Okay. Great. Thank you so much, Hanuman, and thank you, Siddharth. Wish you the best.
Thank you so much. Thank you everyone for your support. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. That was the last question for today. I now hand the conference over to Mr. Hanuman Bhansali for closing comments.
Thank you, Ms. Margaret, and thank you everyone for joining the conference call of Vishnu Chemicals Limited. This is our second conference call, and it means a lot to see such participation from all, from different funds, different research houses, everyone. I'd like to thank all of our colleagues in Vishnu, whose dedication and expertise has helped us create the value for the customers and the shareholders. One thing that we obviously don't talk too much about is, but it means a lot to us at Vishnu, and that is safety and well-being of our talent and people. It is going to be a very important and key priority for us going forward also. So I can't help but to re-emphasize my pride for our Vishnu team and what we have and will be able to accomplish for our shareholders and investors now and going forward. So I'm just going to say thank you to all of you for your interest today. Our next conference call will be post our second quarter results. We do it on a semi-annual basis. So if you have any questions in the meantime, feel free to contact us. Over to you, Ms. Margaret.
Thank you. On behalf of Vishnu Chemicals Limited, that concludes this conference. Thank you for joining us, and you may now disconnect.